Well, we got some stories to talk about. We got that big L.A. gun running bust. Not the L.A. Guns, not the band featuring Jamie Gunn, but L.A. gun running. Okay, people? And this is a big deal. This went all around the world there. Did you hear about this, Joe?
I did.
Because this actually has a bit of an audio segment that I can pull up, and we can watch it together.
Yes.
Right after this commercial.
Listen, if that's what you're doing.
Yeah, you can listen. There's an advertisement, and I will try not to play it. I'm going to get around that. And Reddit was all over. Conspiracy Reddit was all over this. I saw this story, which the title of this article is, Over 1,000 Guns and Other Firearms Found Inside Holmby Hill's Home. I believe it's just near L.A., and people are like, oh, my God, this is why there are guns on the streets of in the inner cities. Or, oh, my God, who needs to legally own 1,000 guns? All those kind of...
Yeah, that's a great question.
All this kinds of stuff. So let's get a little backgrounder on this, and then we will dig a little deeper. Here we go. There we go. Come on. Why don't you play?
Questions tonight about this massive find. It's really surreal when you look at these pictures. The police who went inside said room to room were stacked with guns. So the question is, what was the owner doing with them?
Yeah.
Photos from the LAPD show the mind-boggling stockpile of weapons. Investigators on scene say easily more than 1,000 guns of hundreds of makes and models, including assault weapons, were found at the home here on Beverly Glen near Sunset.
These thousands of weapons of all makes, models, and calibers. Some range from back to the Civil War, some also as old as 50 years plus, and some modern-day weapons.
LAPD raided the home along with the ATF after they got a tip that weapons were being made and sold here. But whether this was a collection or something more sinister is unclear. We asked the LAPD where the owner may have been selling the guns.
I don't have that information. That's part of the investigation. It's still ongoing, and those details will be revealed later.
Police arrested this man at the home. He'll be charged with unlawful selling and transportation of an assault weapon. Whatever was going on at this house, neighbors, including a rabbi from a nearby synagogue, were rattled by the spectacle.
I mean, I'm right up the road over there, and you get scared. What is it? You want to have 1,000 bottles of water in your house? Go get 1,000 bottles of water. 1,000 guns. I mean, do you see what's going on here?
Very scary. My eyes are going crazy. So we're surprised.
And we've just learned that the suspect's name is Gerard Sands, and as you heard, he's facing the unlawful selling of a firearm and assault weapon charge. We also have learned tonight that he could face additional federal charges. We did ask also if there were any drugs found in the home. Police said there were none.
The police found them. They just used them all. That's what happened. So the licensed gun owner out on bond after arrest. So he posted bond. He's out. He's out. He got out.
Wait. Let's party.
Yeah, we can party with him. I guess we can. Can we give him a call? Get him on the air. Longtime companion of ex-Gordon Getty mistress Cynthia Beck reportedly spent several hours behind bars in Los Angeles on Wednesday night after being arrested on suspicion of illegal manufacturing and selling of assault weapons. Early Wednesday morning, officials seized a stockpile of more than 1,000 firearms from a Bel-Air mansion. Investigators also recovered manufacturing equipment and tools, the Los Angeles Times has reported. Gerard Sands was arrested for violating a California law prohibiting in manufacturing, sale, or distribution, importation, or transportation of assault weapons, according to the LA Times.
They got it all covered.
Yeah, to do this in California, like, why don't you move out to the desert and do this? Go to New Mexico, go to Arizona, where they're kind of lax on some of these gun laws, and I'm sure he would have been okay for the most part. But Sands has been released on $50,000 bond and has not been charged with a crime. Interesting. He hasn't been charged with a crime yet. He probably has a Class 3 federal license, and I wonder if he has a storefront. So if you manufacture, my understanding of the gun law, So to have like certain types of weapons, you need to have like a Class 3 license to purchase and or sell privately. He probably has that, and that's why they didn't charge him immediately. And there's nothing illegal with owning that many guns. Obviously, he was a collector. He had stuff from the Civil War. I doubt you're selling Civil War-era muskets to the Crips or Bloods. Although it might be interesting to see a Crip versus Blood pick its charge. You all line up on one side.
Like shoving the ball down in there with the gunpowder and all that. Hold up! I gotta pack this thing up.
I'm about to blast your ass. Just give me 30 seconds.
We all gotta stand up in a line.
Look at this shit.
Face each other.
Boy, I done seen it all.
Just like take shots at each other. Like, think about how stupid it was when you think about those images from the Civil War where everybody just stood up in a line and they all just like fired at each other. What's wrong with you people?
Yeah. Hey guys, let's just all line up.
I'm not standing in front. Bullshit.
Yeah. No, you go up there, Teddy. I'm gonna hang back here, and then when you get hit in the leg, I'm just gonna chop off your arm because that's what we do in the medical tents. We're just gonna chop off all your limbs, no matter what got hit.
We're cauterizing everything. Fuck off.
Just to be sure.
I don't have time for this.
What a
shit.
ridiculous war.
Yeah, seriously.
Well,
cool. Guns, Civil War, muskets, all that good stuff. Who knows? $1,000. You gotta, or $1,000
guns, $50,000
Doesn't matter.
bail.
I mean, yeah, it's like you can have them, you can make them, you can do all that stuff, but you just can't sell them because then you have to have like a dealer's license.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Which he very well may have had. We don't know. But that brings us to like another post or an interesting post from Reddit, and this is titled, I think the QAnon is bullshit, but this is really fucking weird. Today, the LAPD ATF confiscated a shit ton of guns in LA in a Bel-Air neighborhood. The QAnon Pizzagate community has been talking about the family that owns the home this happened at. And so this links back to the Getty family. And so a sub-statement...
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I casually follow the QAnon community, read this article on TMZ earlier this evening, which was weird for a TMZ article, and that links to a TMZ article about the gun running. Tons of arms seized at an exclusive LA neighborhood. Why would TMZ care? So and then this post goes on. So I web searched the name of the person that owns the house and the cars in the driveway. That led me to the article from the San Francisco Gate about the Getty family and kidnappings. So it gets a little deeper here, and I wasn't. I'm not sure if this Getty family is the same Getty that may own Getty Images. I don't know. It's spelled the same way. And then the post continues. I kept searching the web, and they have other abandoned homes in the L.A. area. This article mentions that the Getty Museum, and I remember recently seeing that the QAnon Pizzagate community talks about the Getty Museum. And so that links to a Mother Jones article about QAnon hijacked the White House petition site to push the next Pizzagate. So there's some correlation going on between what the QAnon community is talking about and this guy, and who owns the home in gun running, but I haven't been able to distill it down to exactly determine what this all means.
Somebody figure it out for us. I have Call of Duty to play, please.
Yeah.
Somebody.
But this kind of leads us back to another story we talked about years ago when it first came on the news wire, and that is the mystery of Jeffrey Allen Lash. 5 facts you need to know. This is the guy that was found dead inside his car, and they found hundreds, if not thousands, of weapons and large sums of cash. So,
that's a story that just kind of disappeared.
Disappeared. I'll read through this. Jeffrey Allen Lash was found dead in his SUV near his home in Los Angeles, where he kept thousands of firearms, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, and incredible amounts of ammunition. Lash had told his fiancée that he was an undercover agent for the government. Believing this agency would recover his body, Catherine Nebron didn't report his death but went on a trip to Oregon instead. Here's what we know so far. And And so, number one, Lash claimed to work undercover for a secret government agency. Number two, his fiancée did not report his death, but police didn't suspect foul play. Number three, Lash owned thousands of firearms and 14 specifically or specially equipped cars, among other strange and unusual items. 4, Lash cause of death is unknown, but he was suffering late-stage cancer. And number 5, no one knows how Lash accumulated his wealth. So we got to keep an eye on this gun confiscation thing. We'll have to do a follow-up. Like, he was let out. He wasn't arrested. They let him out on bond, $50,000. He probably has to do is sell a couple weapons. But if you look at the guns that are on the screen right now, it ranges from an Uzi with a silencer to Dragunov sniper rifles, old school Tommy guns, just incredible amounts of weapons.
Cool. Makes me want to go shooting.
I want to know the conspiracy behind this.
No, I know. It's like, yeah. Answers, please.
Someone said, like, in the... I'll open up the phone lines, and maybe someone will be able to give us a little download on this.
Now let's go ahead and take the phone calls.
Yeah. Someone in the Reddit post said that I've gone down a fucking wild rabbit hole here tonight. They are Nazis. Talking about the oil baron Getty.
Oh, yeah.
That the oil baron Getty revealed as a fan of Hitler. But wasn't everyone back in the 20s and 30s kind of...
Hitler was all right. He was
pretty... I mean, there's a lot of politicians in the United States that were pretty big fans of Hitler.
Yeah, they were. FDR. And Stalin, I mean, come on. Stalin really made Hitler look like an amateur.
And Henry Ford was a pretty big Hitler supporter, I believe, at the time. A lot of people. And the Bush
Hitler
family.
was like man of the year on Time Magazine. CIA's Time Magazine.
So newly released documents have revealed that oil billionaire and museum founder J. Paul Getty was a friend and admirer of Adolf Hitler and even lent his support to Nazi Germany in the early days of World War II. Well, we don't know if...
Isn't that great, though? It's like you got Getty Images, which every advertising agency uses regularly.
Yeah.
And no problems there. And David Duke, who Trump has never met and has always denounced, is always put in the same boat. Like, it's like he doesn't like him. He's never supported him. He's only said negative things about him. But it's Trump and David Duke are like sitting in a tree, KISSING. And then this guy, it's like, it's provable. Like, he's literally supporting the guy. It's so fucking weird.
It's weird. You have companies like Getty with a history and a connection to the Nazi regime. IBM.
The king and the queen of England and all that shit.
Prescott Bush.
Yeah.
Like the people who are really connected to and have like direct contact with Nazis, they're just kind of like brushed away. But meanwhile, they just dump this all on Trump.
I hope you dump a lot.
Well, they are, dude. They are dumping everything on you, buddy.
I support the Great Lakes.
Well, no one cares if you do or not.
I support the Great Lakes. No, dude. Earth supports the Great Lakes.
Pretty much.
A lot of water sitting on Earth.
614-388-9109.
Yes.
And if you guys know anything about this story, great. If not, you can call in about anything else.
Yeah. Tell us about your dump.
I'm not super deep into the QAnon stuff, but it's fascinating that they were talking about the Gettys and this stuff before this, maybe right around the time it came out, or the Getty Museum. We'll have to take a look at the Getty Museum. And I know the QAnon people, they got on the Pizzagate stuff, and that goes back to the Alfontes and Podesta. And that may have been the East Coast side of that, and then the West Coast side could have been the Gettys.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so you're making me think about East Coast, New York City, Washington, D.C., control centers, all that stuff out there, Virginia, Langley, and then you've got the West Coast, you've got Scientology, you've got a little bit of the Mormons and wherever the fuck they are.
The Mormons are in Utah.
Yeah, Utah, which is West Coast-ish. But you do have a lot of like the California elites and Hollywood and so forth. And then you've got Colorado, which is supposedly the Illuminati capital, which will become the new capital and was the capital in the Hunger Games. So
yeah,
it's interesting. You got to spread it out.
Well, they're different factions, and I would like to know where the Jesuits are centralized.
They're laying low.
When you take a look at the Mormons out there in Utah, like I think last the congressional election, there was a representative, I believe, running, and he was a CIA. He was a CIA agent running for Congress, if I remember correctly. But
in Utah,
they wield a lot of power. Those Mormons, and there are these different factions of power. They must get together at some point and talk about, hey, this is our territory. Don't come over into L.A. because we're busy doing X, Y, and Z, and we won't go and do anything in D.C. Like gangs. Like the goddamn Crips and Bloods lined up like the Civil War people.
I think you have to get to a certain level, man. I don't know. It's like the older I get, the more I start to believe that there are these giant factions of serious criminal a-holes who, I don't know. What do you?
If you want to join the Slack or Discord, give us an email at ourbigdumbmouth@gmail.com. Check out obdmpod.com for all the social media and donation links. Be a part of the magic.